Greetings, I'm Robert McBride. I'm sitting in C Gallery, that's the letter C, in Tigard. We're on Lower Boones Ferry Road. C Gallery is owned by Carol Mack. And a little bit from their mission statement, C Gallery was created to provide a warm, inviting, and inspiring place for community members to gather, to enjoy fine art, music, and a safe place for engagement with others. Here we are. Thanks, Carol Mack, for inviting us into your private studio. It's a beautiful place. Sitting next to me is Yaacov Bergman, music director of the Portland Chamber Orchestra. And we will be talking about two upcoming Portland Chamber Orchestra concerts, two remarkable, diverse, and very socially relevant concerts. And we'll be talking with two composers who've written the music for those two concerts. Jasnam Dea Singh, thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for inviting me, Robert.
Jasnam is a pianist and composer originally from Brazil who lives in Vancouver, Washington now, and is the composer for My Words Are My Sword. We'll find out about that title and a lot more. And Nancy Ives. Nancy, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
It's so nice to see you.
Nice to see
You may know Nancy as the principal cellist in the Oregon Symphony, but she's also a composer. And in this case being Celilo Falls, We Were There, Nancy is only the composer and will not be playing the cello in that program. But she'll be telling us more about that. I want to tell you a little bit about the Portland Chamber Orchestra. It was founded in 1947, and Yaacov Bergman, Yaaki to his friends, has been the music director since 2002. On their website, they're described as the intimate symphony with infinite imagination. Furthermore, their mission statement, to provide an extraordinary musical experience through an imaginative fusion of the arts. And that is exactly what they do. And My Words Are My Sword and Celilo Falls, We Were There are wonderful examples of exactly what the Portland Chamber Orchestra and Yaacov Bergman do so well. I want to quote you.
Please.
I feel a little bit strange quoting a man who's sitting right next to me, but I want to do it anyway because what you wrote is so good. As we try to follow our moral compass during this difficult time and search for answers to the social and cultural questions our society must confront right now, our next program, My Words Are My Sword, presents a music drama that explores the magical word if and how true liberation grows from an understanding of the manifestation of self with body, mind, soul, and spirit, specifically toward a people, but universally towards all. The term blackness is redefined through story, monologue, characterization, poetry, and song, as it addresses current issues with the buried history of Black bravery and excellence. My Words Are My Sword is the collaboration of Portland composer Jasnam Dea Singh, poet and actor Darius Wallace, conductor Yaacov Bergman, and director Harry Bryce. This important and timely work, an outburst of pain mixed with hope, is a groundbreaking fusion of poetry, hip-hop, jazz, and traditional classical styles. Wow. How did this idea originate?
2 or 3 years ago, I was introduced to Darius Wallace, a remarkable Shakespearean actor, poet, writer, and a person that really involved in political activities, and it made it so relevant and very inspiring to me, this combination. And a wonderful friendship was built, and a lot of telephone calls and discussions, and then finally I said to him, hey, we have to do something, then I realized that actually right here at home in Portland, we have one of the finest composers that came across recently. I have the privilege to collaborate with Jasnam. We did was it the premiere? I don't know.
On the Northwest, yes.
Yeah, piano concerto 3 years ago.
2017.
Yeah, he comes up with a very interesting individualistic, original kind of language, musical language, which captured my attention a great deal. And he really brings this fusion between jazz, Brazilian, Latin kind of feeling, and classical. So I thought myself, and kind of as the thing started developing, I thought myself, and then I went to Hamilton to see Hamilton in Broadway.
Uh-huh.
And that was really a remarkable experience, very inspirational one. So I came to Jasmine and I said, could you write something that will blend all, create a fusion between all your capabilities and will serve well the text that the readers might come with? We didn't have anything on paper yet.
Was that an easy thing to say yes to?
Oh, yes. I didn't have to think twice.
Did you launch right into it? I mean, to start working at the piano, maybe working out some musical ideas?
Not really, because when we started a conversation, Yaki, the Rios, myself, we started spending a lot of time on the phone and eventually Zoom meetings.
After the other.
So by the time I started composing the music, we had been talking for almost 2 years already.
Oh. Had you met Darius before?
No,
Okay.
we haven't met personally
Only
yet.
by Zoom.
By Zoom, yeah.
Yeah. But he's been writing words, and you're writing music. Are you setting any of those words? Is he reciting over the music? Is he singing some of it? How's this working?
There's some very brief singing, here and there, for which I wrote on the score for that particular moment of singing. But what he provided Yaki and me right in the beginning was not only this written script, but also he produced a video of him performing this text, which is an incredible tool. So I spent a great deal of time watching the video and timing his performance.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll know how long each piece should be. Of course, during his performance with that, it's going to be a little shorter or longer at times, and then we have to adapt. But I have a basic idea of the length of the performance.
The process is basically, and this is really, I must compliment you, Jasmine. I didn't realize how complex it could be, and you really simplify the process dramatically. How many cues you're about to provide?
20 plus 3 or 4 interludes, about 24 pieces of music.
So the way he does it, he basically already composed 18 cues. So each of those cues comes in a form of score and MIDI. So what I do right now, I put together the text, the written text, with the MIDI as a document, and all of that is forwarded to Darius to start acting on the cues, musical cues, and getting used to the music.
What does the music sound like in MIDI form? Does it have a kind of electronic sound?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Basically, I use a notation program called Sibelius. All composers and musical directors work with a different one. I don't know which one you use.
Dorico.
Actually, never heard of it.
That's new.
And Yaki works with Finale. I work with Sibelius. And there is one app called Note Performer that when you install on your computer, it talks to the notation program. So when I finish the score, I have that app play the score back. Of course, it's not like a real human ensemble, but it gives people a pretty good idea of how the music's supposed to sound.
What a time we live in. The technology we have available for that, the Zoom meetings that you've had to do these cross-country conversations, because Darius lives in Memphis, right? Could you read for us a little bit of what he's written for this piece so that we get a feel for it?
Sure.
I'm talking about My Words Are My Sword. Who came up with that title?
I think he did.
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
Good
Yeah.
title.
He actually was considering changing it, and I insisted that he will keep it because it's really it's straightforward, right on the point of what this show is all about. It's a personal sharing of an individual in our current contemporary society as a black individual. And it is so emotional, it is so evocative, it is so really, it's quite amazing. Even bring his own family into it, his mother, the way he grew up, the things that she experienced. You know, there are very touching, heartbreaking, and heartfelt at the same time moments. Yeah. So this is a huge challenge to Jasnem, which really.
Well, yeah, I feel like this script, this text, like every paragraph is a gem, you know? And there are moments that are very dramatic, very tragic and painful. Like, for example, there's not the paragraph I'll read now, but there's one particular poem that he recites that is basically telling, it's like a man who's been lynched. He tells the story of what he felt through what he smelled, what he heard as he was being about to be lynched. So that was probably one of the most painful pieces of music I had to come up with, because I could feel the pain, you know, just by reading that. And like, for example, something like this paragraph, a very short one. We only see the immortal and courageous side to Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X. We don't see the fear, the despair, and risk in standing up for justice. There is an obscure speech by Martin Luther King called the Epiphany speech that gives us a glimpse of what he went through. They say it is the only speech where Martin Luther King began to cry. So that's the whole text is very powerful. You know, I can see why Yaki was so drawn to it, and I'm very much drawn to it too. So actually, writing music for this type of text, even though is a lot of work and time consuming, but the music is just coming out very naturally.
What styles will we recognize in this piece? As Yaki said, you're very comfortable with classical music. You grew up playing Chopin and you love Ravel, I know.
Yeah.
But you're also a very experienced jazz performer. What does this piece sound like?
This piece will have moments where you hear influences of Ravel or Stravinsky or Hindemith, but there are also moments of jazz. You hear jazz ballad or something inspired by Coltrane, and of course, being from Brazil, I have all that influence from African music and Brazilian music. So you hear that too. So I'm allowing all those genres and styles to come forward, you know, in different moments of the show.
You know, one of the most powerful things about, and especially, you know, somebody like me, and I don't know about Jasmine, but I came to America because I love so much jazz, big band, yeah, Mickey Mouse, and and things that are absolute American.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and when I became a student here and then stayed here, I grew up to observe, you know, so many nuances, cultural nuances that come from other cultures, not just American.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole synthesis, this whole future is exactly what I am trying today as an artist to bring together. So, you know, one of the formats in the way we put this piece together is to really not to be stiff about, let's say, the timing, but I'm encouraging the readers to not look at his text as he would like to read it, but as an actor. Mm-hmm. In other words, just put as much drama, put as much rhythm, it's all improvisational within the periphery of time. Yeah, the limitation of time in each cue in each poem. So, and again, I was very, very much inspired by Hamilton. I mean, when you sit there and you hear those rhythms, and the text and the rap and the bebop, bebop, it takes you to a different place. It's so organic. So, even the orchestra, the orchestration fits very much the character of the show. Yeah, we're talking about a very small chamber orchestra, single winds, and rhythm section. So it really offers for many, many possibilities for Jasnem to really bring out his own, language. And
You've come a long way from a kid growing up in Israel.
tell me about it.
And Darius Wallace is the man for this, just like you are the man to write the music for this. He's a very powerful performer. He has the handsomeness and the voice that ordinary mortals like me can only wish we had. But he also has a very genuine aspect of caring for other people. So he brings a lot of awesomeness to the stage, but it's not something that's intimidating. And this is a man who was homeless in the streets of Brooklyn years ago in his despair after his mother died.
Yep.
And now he is a very successful actor, writer, motivational speaker. And we get to see and hear him in My Words Are My Sword with music by Jasnem Daya Singh. 2 performances